only 9,000 cases. After the Supreme Court judgment, the department has issued instruction to deal with the Supreme Court decision, and as per the said instruction, the assessing officer shall issue notices under section 148A for the assessment year 13-14 and 14-15. If the escaped income is more than 50 lakh, it will lead to further litigation and more writs will be filed. It is clear that department will leave no stone unturned to take addition of escape income. Friends, here I will like to share one more thing. That 2 years back, when this section 148A or section 149, etc. were introduced, then in the seminars being organized by Avantika and by our own BBD bar, very shortly after the insertion of these sections, I repeatedly told in all the seminars that even we go to the rate, because most of our speakers were in the favor of furnishing the rate, filing the rate, but I was of the opinion we can win in the rate, but the government may amend it, the section itself in the coming finance bill, or in the Supreme Court we will lose. Nobody agrees with me, but today we are seeing that more or less that situation is arising. Because that time I had a talk with a few CBD members, and they told me that government will not leave the SSC by hook or by crook. So by any means, the additions will be made under section 148 for reopening of the escape income for these assessment years. So even now, we should not go to discuss anymore that whether the Supreme Court judgment has any defect or whether the guidelines or the direction issued by the department is not proper, because whether it is proper or improper, notices are bound to be served. As a tax consultant, we should now prepare ourselves to fight these notices. How we should deal with these notices, now we should be well prepared for this. Friends, every tax consultant is under stress about the opening of the cases under section 148 for dealing these notices. But I think there is no such worry. We should not be under stress, because out of 9,000 writ cases, around 50% are estimated as containing escaped income below 50 lakh. Or why 9,000 writ cases? Even those cases where writ has not been filed. I have talked to several officers and I have come to the conclusion that around 50% cases are below 50 lakh. Because in small towns, the cases are of a small amount, below 50 lakh. In Calcutta, obviously, there can be a large number of cases above 50 lakh, or in Bombay, or in Delhi. So, on an average, 45,000 cases will be out of the record. Only 45,000 will be left. And out of the balance 45,000 cases which are being left, I think there are other means by which some of the cases or large number of cases we will able to win till either CIT appeal or before ITT. Very few cases will be left which the SSC may have to pay tax. So there is no much worry, although litigation will be there. As regards friends, cases below 50 lakh, I have read in several newspapers, they have written that the CBDT has asked the assessing officer not to reopen the cases of SSC having escaped income below 50 lakh. Such type of news show that the CBT is showing mercy on the small SSC. They are using the word small SSC. This is not the mercy, because CBDT had no option to reopen these cases as per the provisions of the law. So the question of mercy doesn't arise here. Had they any option, they would definitely reopen the cases even below 50 lakh at the any option. But it's not a case of small or big SSC. And according to me, friends, the department officers are also under full tension and stress, even more than us, because they have to make the list of the cases 50 lakh above, 50 lakh below, and they have to also send the information as well as the material within 1 month. Already 12 days have passed till today. The order of Supreme Court was passed on 4th and today it is 16. So already 12 days have passed, 18 days are left. And within 18 days, they have to send the information and the material. Material is concerned, most of them do not possess any material because the information from the wing, investing wing was passed to them through computers, and on the basis of those information, they issue the notice without going through the material. So now it will be very difficult for them to collect the material from the wing and to send it to the assessing and to the SSC within 2nd of June. That is the date by which the department has to send notice as per Apex Court verdict. So friends, we should now prepare ourselves how to reply the notices being issued by the income department now. Here one thing I would also like to highlight or share with all of you, that we should make a joint effort and should approach the finance minister to look into this matter of reopening to save our clients from the litigation. Unless there is a joint effort, only such type of seminars or webinars or writing of some articles, although I am also writing articles, I am also speaking in the seminars, but I am of the view this will not help us as regard the government is concerned. The CBDT will not be able to do anything unless we approach the financial. Writing to the CBDT will also be of much importance. In this matter, one important thing came to knowledge of everyone, that till the CBDT issued its instruction, most of us, the top lawyers of India, were of the view that there cannot be any reopening under section 148 as regard assessment year 13, 14 and 15 etc. are concerned after the passing of Supreme Court judgment. But the Income Tax Department went on listening the opinions of these lawyers and chartered accountants at various forums and silently made their views, their opinions, and CBDT issued instructions making a way for reopening of the assessment. Hardly any of us have told prior to the instruction that the reopening was in no case possible. No one has, I think hardly anyone. After the guidelines of the of the CBDT, some of the top professionals have started saying they say CBDT may be right. So now again there is a controversy has arisen among us. Some of us are in favor of the some of us are of the opinion that as per the Apex Court judgment, no reopening possible. Some of us are of the view that yes, as per guidelines, after going through the guidelines, the reopening is possible even after the Apex Court judgment. So friends, as regard the some practical aspects of is concerned, after speaking to several officers of the department and my colleagues and myself, I think I should raise certain issues, and I would share my views on these issues also. So that will be better, that how we should deal the notices, which are going to be issued. There is no doubt. Friends, as soon as we get the notice, we should first of all see whether amount is below 50 lakh or more than 50 lakh. If it is below 50 lakh, and even if the notice has been issued, yes, it may be possible. Despite the instruction, there can be errors. May not be intentional, but there can be error, and we can get the notice even below 50 lakh, maybe few cases. So if we get such notice, we should raise the issue referring CBDT instruction in our reply, that, and we should say that the reopening is illegal. But if it is above 50 lakh, then, and that is the main issue today, that how we should deal the notices above 50 lakh for the particular assessment years. If it is above 50 lakh, friends, we should challenge as per interpretation of the apex court decision. Yes, because the interpretation of the apex court is also in our favor. As per our interpretation, it is in our favor, and we should challenge this notice referring all those points which are in the favor, that as per Supreme Court, the reopening is illegal, whether the CBDT agrees or not, whoever may be the CBDT instruction, but we should definitely put these points related to the apex court judgment. I think in every notice, we should give this point, because it is applicable for every notice above 50 lakh. And thereafter, we should also see the information on which the AO has initiated the proceedings. This is very vital, friends. The Supreme Court has told, as stated in this judgment, as instructed the assessing officer to supply the information and the material within 30 days, for which I was referring some time back. So as regard the information is concerned, when he will supply the information and may not supply the material, I feel, but on the basis of the information, we can know what is the facts or what is the basis on which the AO was to reopen our case. Material are the evidence, but the information will highlight the facts on the basis of which the case is going to be reopened. So after going through the information, we should see the fact, and suppose the facts of the information contains that there is a transaction of loan exceeding 50 lakh rupees. As per assessing officer, it is a bogus loan, and so it is a escaped income. So many notices you will get as regard the borrowed loan is concerned, as regard the expenditure exceeding 50 lakh is concerned. You are well aware that in the Finance Act 21, Section 148, 148A, it has been stated that income representing assets, the reopening beyond 6 years is possible if the income represents assets. In the next year, the amendment was made and certain more points were inserted. But as regard 21 is concerned, since the income represents assets, and if the information contains the loans or the expenses, loan is a liability and expenses of loan are not the income. So the question of representing asset doesn't arise. So in my view, as per this section, this reopening can be challenged, and definitely assessing officer will make the decision, but in the higher appellate authority, we can get the relief very well. So most of the cases will be out of your this addition. As I told you, very few cases will be left for the additions, which we may not be even in the High Court. Thereafter, friends, entries and transaction books of accounts, expenses in relation to an event or occasion, etc., as embodied in Section 148, 149(1)(b), in the assessment year 2022. This will apply in the next year's notices, not this year. This 13, 14, 15, 14, 15, 15, 16, all are getting time out in 2021. We should definitely challenge in detail as regard this section is concerned whenever we get the notice regarding loans and expenses. We should see as information and material both has been supplied. Information will be supplied in every matter, but material will not be supplied in large number of cases. Most of the AOs are not having material under their possession, and it is very difficult for them to collect material within such a short period. So failing in providing us material within 2nd June will again be a serious lapse of the assessing officer, as Supreme Court has given direction. It is the direction of the Supreme Court. It is not mentioned in that. It is the direction of the Supreme Court that within 2nd June the material has to be supplied to the assessee. And if the assessing officer doesn't supply, is it not a contempt of court? And if the order is passed without supplying of these materials, which obviously will be passed, then again in appeal, it's a very good point. Here, I think we should not go to the writ court, because writ court may say that, okay, you did not get the material, they instruct to the assessing officer to give you the material and provide you further time. So in my view, we should not go to the writ for such lapse, but we should include this point in our submission and we should proceed with the appellate authority. The third important point is that reopening of this case has already been recorded as per the direction of the Honorable Appeals Court. The AO is required to serve that on the SSC along with the copy of information and material available. Because reopening of the has been made 1 year back, reasons have been recorded. So the assessing officer, while sending the information and the material, will send the reasons also. But we should check that whatever they have stated in the reasons, whatever amount, whether the material supplied by them matches with the amount in the reasons or not, whether the information being supplied by them matches with the reasons recorded or not. In several cases, it may not match. And again, we get a very good point to fight our case, to deal our case, a good point we can win, because if there is any difference in reasons, and I've heard unofficially that in some cases they have got some information after the reasons were recorded. And they are trying to include those reasons again, those information again in this notice. If it is so, we should check and we should challenge it again so that unnecessary the addition is not made on us. In one case, I would give an example. The SSC had booked loss of 30 lakh in currency segment. The total trade value was 60 lakh purchases and 30 lakh sale. The AO in this case issued notice under section 148A by treating the loss of 30 lakh as bogus and also the sale amount of 30 lakh received as bogus. Loss as well as the sale amount, and made a case of above 50 lakh. Such type of things may again happen while sending the information. So we should be very careful in going through such type of cases. There's another important aspect that is to be considered is the linkage of information with the notice drafted by the AO. Yes, friend. We have to link the information and the drafting of the notice, because what Supreme Court has said that the information will be shared by the AO with us as well as the material. But it is not so that they will simply mention one sentence that as per Supreme Court judgment, we are sending you the information as well as the material. Obviously, on the basis of the information, they will write 1 or 2 or 3 paragraphs and they will send it, in which they will give their own observation on the basis of the information. So we should see whether the notice drafted by the AO and the information are similar. If there is difference, then we can challenge it also. So we have to go through the notice and every content very, very minutely. Like in case of bogus long-term capital gain friends. Suppose the SSE has booked long-term capital gain of 49 lakh, sale value 60 lakh, and purchase value 11 lakh. The information is for bogus long-term capital gain of 49 lakh. But the AO records the reason for bogus sale consideration of rupees 60 lakh to make the case above rupees 50 lakh. This type of issue needs to be checked. And information are normally received by the investigation wing, and they will just give the little information which they have received. They will not change anything in the information received. But their observation may differ. Sometimes the wing can say that yes, we are sending you the information which contains long-term capital gain of 40 lakh. But the AO can say that the sale receipt of the long-term capital gain is bogus. So there is no linkage. Here we can challenge that the information sent by the wing was in respect of bogus long-term capital gain, not the bogus sales. This is one example, but you can find several examples when you get the notice and when you get the information. So we have to check information and the contents of the notice. And friends, if we get the material and information on 3rd June, shown as dated 2nd June, as it happened previously also when the notices under section 148 were issued on 31st, but were issued to, but were served on 1st April. So they were litigation bits. The same thing can happen again, that the notice might be showing 2nd, but we are getting through mail on 3rd. So we have to check the dates also in the notice on the last day. And we should also see whether there is a proper approval from different time to time, as mentioned in that, have been obtained or not. And we should draft our submission very strongly. We require a strong drafting of our submission. We are not afraid of any officer, any authority, and we should not think that what the AO will do, and because we do not know who is the AO, and even if we know, since we should not hesitate in writing strictly and boldly. We should write to the AO to make inquiry under section 148. That's right. Although Act doesn't say that we should make the request to the AO to make inquiry. The Act doesn't empower us, doesn't authorize us. And the Supreme Court has told that even inquiry may not be required with the prior permission. But still, if we find that our case is very strong and the information supplied by the department, by the wing, is one-sided, then we should ourselves write to the AO that yes, please make inquiry in respect of our loan, etc. He will not make an inquiry, but it will help us in the appeal. The CBDT, by its instruction, has asked the AO to grant adjournment on merit. If you go to the direction, instruction being given by the CBDT after the apex court judgment, they have mentioned that in case of adjournment being sought by the SSC, the AO will grant adjournment on merit. And if you go through the Act, you will find that adjournment will be granted on application. It means adjournment is automatic. As per the Act, you find an adjournment, it will be automatic. But now the instruction says that it will be granted on merit. I do not understand, because the instruction cannot supersede the Act. And when Act says, so if they don't give adjournment, reject it on merit, you can again challenge it that they have no power to reject on all, only because the instruction has empowered. Instruction cannot supersede the act. So it is a vital point because we may go for the adjournment, but time is also very short with us. But here one thing I fail to understand, that why the CBDT has asked the AO to grant an adjournment on the merit. Because here AOs are already very busy and they have to pass the orders within a very, very short time. So if they grant an adjournment, this time will be included, will be an additional time of the adjournment which they get. So it is for their benefit. But still, friends, these are several points which I have brought and I have made up on the basis of several discussion with my several friends and with the department and myself. I think if we tackle the notice, keeping in mind all these points, definitely we can have a good drafting of notice. And since the number of cases will be automatically minimal, as I told that most of the cases will go, and chances of ultimate tax liability after passing through higher appellate authority is remote. We should not keep ourselves under tension, which we are having since last 2 years. So friends, from today, we should not go to discuss the integrity of the circular, the legality or the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment, but we should fully focus on the contents of the notice. That is very, very important. And whatever fact we find, whatever fault we find, we should put on the record in our submission. It may be the fault of even, for example, and or all, but we should bring it on record. You know that there are case laws on and, or, singular, plural, there are case laws. So somebody has found such fault previously. So we should also try to find every fault and we should bring on record in our submission. So friends, thank you for my patient hearing. Now there will be question answer session. So I think 15-20 minutes will be for question answer session. Thank you.
Thank you, Parasji, for the wonderful deliberation and the way you have, given point by point replies to be given in pursuant to notices which department is going to issue. I believe that it is going to be very helpful to all the participants here. We have some questions which we have already received from the participants. I would like to request you to kindly answer to these queries. Query 1 is, the company has incurred derivative losses in excess of 50 lakhs for assessment year 15-16. 148 notice was issued subsequent to 31st March 21 and SSC has filed writ petition which was granted by Honorable High Court. Company has sufficient tax paid fund to enter into this transaction. Can this case be reopened pursuant to CBDT instruction number 1/22? I believe the assessment year 15-16 is still a issue of litigation subsequent to this instruction which CBDT has issued. Can you give your views on this?
As per old provisions of section 149, subsection 1, small b, this case should not be reopened as it is not income represented by assets. And as regard NBFC is concerned, there will be no effect whether it is NBFC or not. And the third point I have already covered in my deliberation.
Okay, thank you so much. Query 2 is, the SSC has filed writ on following grounds: that the notice was issued on the deceased SSC, or otherwise, say suppose there is change in email ID and the notice was issued in the earlier email ID, whereas the current email ID is properly updated in records. The writ was granted on the basis of, however, the writ was granted on the basis of non-compliance of 148A without considering these grounds. So in this scenario, do the SSC need to file a fresh writ considering the above A and B point, or the existing writ can be reconsidered by the court?
As you got this case, this query is concerned, I personally feel that any advocate who deals the writ matter will definitely give the better reply. But whatever small knowledge I am having, I think since the old writ, all the points were not discussed. So if this is one of the grounds which are not discussed, so we can pray the High Court to take the remaining grounds. It is called review petition. We can make a review petition for the original for our first writ. So second writ is not required.
Okay, so existing writ will be reconsidered.
Yes, review petition has to be made.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Query 3 is then the SSC has earned a profit of 5 lakh in commodity derivative, and such amount is also credited to the books of accounts of SSC and in bank statement. The department has observed the sale value amounting rupees 60 lakhs and has issued notice under section 148A for assessment year 15-16. Would that be a valid notice? Because the profit is 5 lakh, however, the amount involved or the sale consideration is 60 lakh. We have seen many such notices has come. So is it a challengeable notice, or what should we do?
Yes, it is a challengeable notice. It is not a valid notice because 16 lakh is not a transaction, that is only the trade value, and reopening cannot be made on the trade value. Actual transaction is of 5 lakh. There could be there could be difference if there can be a sale and purchase of 60 lakh of goods or shares or like that. Then the situation could be different. And that also depends how the reason is drafted, how the information is given. And there, if they say that the sale is undisclosed, then this reopening is proper. But if in that case also they do not challenge the sale, they simply say that the loss or the profit, it is undisclosed, then again that notice is. So it depends how they draft.
So in one of the cases, we have seen that the assessing officer even did not consider the submission by the assessee, stating that he has received 5 lakh rupees and the amount credited is only 5 lakh rupees. And in 68, addition can be made only which the amount has been credited to the books of accounts or the bank statement which is reflecting. But still the assessing officer did not, bother to consider the submission of assessee, and went ahead with the addition of the total amount. Yes, the 60 lakh rupees totally added as his undisclosed income. So these all are the cases which I feel that as and when it will proceed, it will again create lot many litigations in the time to come.
These are actually not new thing. Since I started practice, I am finding such type of orders that assessing officer doesn't consider the submissions and go on making additions. So this is nothing new.
So the query 4 is 148 notice for assessment year 13-14 was issued in April 22. And SSC has filed return and also the objection stating that the notice is time barred. However, he has continued with the assessment proceeding and the AO has passed the assessment order also. Can the said assessment be treated as invalid subsequent to the Supreme Court order dated 4th May?
In such circumstance, I think the SSC should file the writ for the High Court, and the court can only direct the assessing officer to proceed as per apex court decision.
So even though the assessment is completed?
Yes, even though the assessment High Court can, but not the CIT appeal or the ITT.
So do the AO has this power to reconsider his assessment order again? I mean,
High Court is above, AO is not above High Court. That is why I told that writ has to be made.
Okay. So query 5 is whether bringing TOLA in calculating time limit by CBDT in its instruction is correct in view of apex court verdict on the issue?
That is why I told you that on this issue there are various conflict views. But as far as my personal view is concerned, I also of this view that CBT is not correct.
Okay. So we have some queries in the chat box also. First query is Nemal Bothra ji ki hai, whether 148A order is appealable. I don't
No.
think 148 order is
Not appealable.
Not appealable.
It is not appealable.
Second query is Shyam Sundar ji, information with AO on risk-based flagged and audit objections only in Finance Act 2021. Please tell Kocher ji to clarify. Shyam Sundar ji, can you unmute yourself and ask the query? Your query is not very clear. May I request Shyam Sundar ji to unmute?
Hello. Hello. Are you unmuted? Hello.
Yes. बोलिए.
हाँ सुनाई दे रहा है कोचर जी?
हाँ बताइए जी.
ये जो फाइनेंस एक्ट 21 में तो दो ही टाइप की इंफॉर्मेशन में रीओपन हो सकता था, एक तो रिस्क एक्ट वाला और एक ऑडिट ऑब्जेक्शन वाला.
हाँ जी.
तो अभी जब ये इंफॉर्मेशन हम लोगों को शेयर करेगा तो हम तो उससे पूछ सकते हैं ये रिस्क बेस्ड है क्या, तेरे पास फ्लैग हुई है क्या?
नहीं, ये जो आपकी रीओपनिंग हो रही है ये करंट ईयर की थोड़ी है, ये तो आपकी 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 17 सब के ना.
फाइनेंस एक्ट 21 में दो ही टाइप की इंफॉर्मेशन को 148 में रीओपन करने के लिए बोला गया था.
जो आपके नए रीओपन केस होंगे उससे मतलब इन फाइनेंशियल से रिलेटेड जो केस होंगे ये तो आपके ऑलरेडी रीओपन हो चुके हैं, उनकी नोटिस को लेके इसे प्रोसीडिंग की बात चल रही है ना. अब जो भी होंगे आपके इन्हीं बेस के ऊपर होंगे, बट पुरानों में ये नहीं अप्लाई होगा ना आपका.
नहीं तो फिर एक्सपेंडिचर का भी यदि कोई उसने किया है,
हाँ जी,
रीओपनिंग फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर अनडिस्क्लोज्ड एक्सपेंडिचर,
दोनों में फर्क है.
भी
एक्सपेंडिचर जो है वो बोलता है कि आपकी जो असेसमेंट ईयर आपके जो 6 साल का पहले जो टाइमलाइन था उसको इन्होंने 10 साल कर दिया. वो 10 साल में इन्होंने एक तो एक्सेप्शन कर दिया कि ये नहीं कि आप कोई भी केस आप 10 साल में रीओपन कर सकते हैं. उसके लिए इन्होंने कहा है कि इस टाइप के जो पर्टिकुलर केसेज है खाली वही आप 10 साल में कर सकते हैं, नेट टू अबाउट 50 लाख.
ठीक है.
तो 50 लाख की जब आप लिमिट में जिसमें आओगे वहां आपका वो
रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय एसेट्स वाला तो थ्योरी लागू रहेगा.
हाँ जी,
रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय एसेट्स वाली थ्योरी लागू रहेगी,
एकदम लागू रहेगी.
लेकिन ये रिस्क बेस्ड और ऑडिट वाला ये लागू नहीं रहेगा. कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन जो हो भले
पुरानी में लागू नहीं रहेगा.
ये पुराने में माना जाएगा क्या?
नहीं, ये रिस्क बेस्ड आपका नई रीओपनिंग जो
148 है में तो प्रोविजन डाला है ना.
हाँ ठीक है.
2022 में 3 चीजें और ऐड कर दी
क्योंकि वो आपके सारे रीओपन हो चुके हैं ना. वो तो पुराने केसेस जब उनकी हम बात कर रहे हैं ना, ऑलरेडी रीओपन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट ईयर्स लॉ.
नहीं कोचर जी, नए 148 ए में तो एलिजिबिलिटी इन दो ही इश्यू पे थी रीओपनिंग की.
हाँ करेक्ट.
इसको भी अपने यहाँ मेंशन नहीं कर सकते क्या भाई तेरी रिस्पेक्ट फ्लैट इश्यू है क्या, ऑडिट ऑब्जेक्शन है, या तुम कहाँ से ले आए इन्फॉर्मेशन?
नहीं, आप तो ऑलवेज मांग सकते हो ना कि आपका बेसिस ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन क्या है, बट यू कैन ऑलवेज आस्क फॉर द बेसिस ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन.
ठीक है. प्रणाम.
We have another query from Vijay Kumar Shauzi. After getting the order under section 148A 1D along with notice under section 148, what is the procedure to be followed?
आफ्टर गेटिंग नोटिस अंडर सेक्शन 148A, तो अभी जो केसेस जो पेंडिंग है जिनका सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि 1 महीना के अंदर पहले उनको डिपार्टमेंट को ये आपको इंफॉर्मेशन और मटेरियल सप्लाई करने पड़ेंगे. उसके 15 दिन में आपको रिप्लाई देनी पड़ेगी और आपकी रिप्लाई को कंसीडर करेगा और जिस महीने में आपने रिप्लाई दी है उसके नेक्स्ट महीने के अंदर में उसको ऑर्डर पास करना पड़ेगा. अब देखिए इसमें एक क्लच है. मान लीजिए आपको नोटिस आ जाती है अभी 25, 26, 27, 28 तारीख में नोटिस आनी शुरू हो जाती है, तो मेरा आपसे ये सजेशन है अगर आपके पास टाइम हो तो वो रिप्लाई आप इसी महीने में फाइल करें. 30 मई तक या 31 मई तक आप फाइल करें. उससे क्या होगा कि यू विल गेट ओनली 1 मंथ. लेकिन अगर आप 1 जून को या 2 जून को या जून में फाइल करते हैं तो एओ को करीब 2 महीने मिल जाते हैं. तो ऑब्वियसली अभी जून के महीने में एओ विल बी वेरी बिजी और एओ जितना बिजी रहेगा उतना ही ऑर्डर वीक होगा. we can take benefit of this. Pre-processing.
We
आनंद
can
जी,
take-
इसमें मेरा एक क्वेरी है, थोड़ा सा
हाँ,
इसी को
सर।
एक्सटेंड करते हैं।
बताइए।
बहुत से लोगों ने जो पहले 148 की नोटिस मिली थी,
हाँ।
उस वक्त में रिटर्न नहीं फाइल कर पाए थे, क्योंकि आपको ये कोविड आ गया था। कोविड आने के बाद में जब रिटर्न फाइल करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे तो सिस्टम ले नहीं रहा था।
हाँ।
बहुत से केसेस के अंदर में सिस्टम नहीं ले रहा था, तो रिटर्न नहीं फाइल हो पा रहा था।
हम्म।
तो अभी जो 148(1) का जो ऑर्डर होगा, उसके बाद में वी कैन फाइल द रिटर्न। आई थिंक डिपार्टमेंट विल गिव यू एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू फाइल द रिटर्न।
देखिए, आपके पास में अगर फिर नोटिस आती है 148 की आएगी, तो
हाँ।
उसके केस में आई थिंक यू कैन फाइल द रिटर्न।
वी कैन
तो
फाइल द
सिस्टम लेगा ही।
नहीं, लेकिन अभी नया सिस्टम के अंदर में तो जब रिटर्न जब ऑर्डर होता है उसके बाद में हमको फाइल करना पड़ता है ना।
तो भी वही हो जाएगा ना, 148 का ऑर्डर होगा, उसके बाद में 148 की नोटिस आएगी आपके पास में।
हाँ,
तो you
उसके
can-
बाद में हम रिटर्न फाइल कर
So
सकते हैं।
I think you can file the return.
सर मेरा एक क्वेरी है सर। मैं एक्चुअली जो पूछा था कि 148(1) का जो ये ऑर्डर एओ देगा और उसके साथ में 148 जो नोटिस देगा, उसके बाद में अपने लोग को क्या करना है? जैसे प्रीवियस एक्ट में हम लोग 148 नोटिस मिलने के बाद में रिटर्न फाइल करते थे, उसके बाद में वो रीजन मांगते थे, रीजन देने के बाद में हम लोग उसको ऑब्जेक्शन डायल करते थे। तो ऐसा अभी अंडर द न्यू रेजिम, ये जो नया एक्ट के हिसाब से हो रहा है, 148(a)(1)(d) का वो ऑर्डर देगा नेचुरली सर।
ठीक है।
ऑर्डर के साथ साथ में 148 का नोटिस देगा।
हाँ, ठीक है।
उसके बाद में हम लोग को क्या करना है सर? दैट इज माय रियल क्वेश्चन सर।
अच्छा, आपको नई प्रोसीडिंग से मतलब है, ठीक है।
सर
देखिए जी, अब तो आपका जो मेन नोटिस हो जाती है वो 148A की नोटिस हो जाती है, और 148A की नोटिस में आपको जो रीजन 148 के बाद पहले मिलता था, वो आपको 148 की इंफॉर्मेशन में मिल जाता है। तो आपको जो चैलेंज करना है, जो सबमिशन बनाना है, जो फैक्ट्स देने हैं, जो केस मान देने हैं, आप वहीं दीजिए। उसके बाद में वो 148 में आपका रीओपन कर देंगे, और वहां पर आप अगेन अगर आपका रीओपनिंग इज रॉन्ग और 148 में भी आप इसी को चैलेंज कर रहे हैं, तो मेरा तो ये कहना है कि 148 को भी फिर दोबारा आप, भले आपका रिपीटेशन ही हो, फिर आप सबमिशन में दीजिए कि आपका 148 जो है
नहीं, ये बताइए नॉमिनेशन कमेटी कब बनानी पड़ती है?
हेलो, 48 जो है वो आपका गलत है, ये आप दोबारा कीजिए, भले आपको सेम केस लो, सेम फैक्ट सिमिलर आपको वापस देने पड़े, और उसके बाद में जब 142(1) की प्रोसीडिंग आएगी तो उसमें जो अंडर प्रोटेस्ट, अंडर ऑब्जेक्शन, आपको उसमें प्रोसीड करते चलिए।
नोटिस मिलने के बाद में हम लोग को दोबारा रिटर्न डालना पड़ेगा सर?
हाँ,
दोबारा रिटर्न को डालना पड़ेगा सर?
आई थिंक सो।
एंड रिटर्न डालने के बाद में फिर जो पहले मांगते थे कि रीजन दीजिए, वो मांगना पड़ेगा ना? ऑलरेडी तो वो दे चुका है सर।
नहीं, अब रीजन की दरकार क्या? रीजन तो आपको ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन
चुका है सर।
देंगे ना, मटेरियल, इसके साथ रीजन आ जाएंगे आपके,
अच्छा,
या तो पहले आ गए, नहीं तो इसके साथ आ जाएंगे।
तो सर अभी क्या रिटर्न लगाना पड़ेगा कि नहीं लगाना पड़ेगा अभी नया तरीके से?
भाई देखिए, हालांकि ये तो बहुत नई चीज है, कहीं कुछ मेंशन भी नहीं है, बट पर्सनल व्यू तो यही है कि इसमें रिटर्न लगाना पड़ेगा।
अच्छा सर, ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सर।
मेरे ख्याल से 148 की जब नोटिस देगा तो उसके बाद में रिटर्न लगाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि
हाँ, वही
एग्जिस्टिंग
मैं कह
प्रोविजन के
रहा
अंदर में भी तो यही है ना कि आपको
सर,
नोटिस दिया,
148
ऑर्डर
का
पास किया।
provision return required as earlier.
हाँ,
Now only thing is now it is subject to 148A. The whole thing remains the same.
We see, Anil Agarwal ji has raised his hands. Can we ask Anil ji to unmute himself and ask the query?
Yes, sir. Sir, could you please explain third and fourth proviso to section 149(1) with some example?
बोलिए।
Sir, 149(1) third and fourth proviso.
हाँ,
with example बता सकते हैं कुछ, क्या उसका मीनिंग निकल रहा है?
अच्छा, एक मिनट, लेट मी गो टू थर्ड एंड फोर्थ। 149(1) का
Third proviso and fourth proviso.
फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड। मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ फॉर द ऑडियंस। Provided also that for the purpose of computing the period of limitation as per this section, the time or extended time allowed to the assessee as per so cause notice issued under clause B of section 148A or the period during which the proceeding under section 148 is stayed by an order or injunction of any court shall be excluded. अभी जो रिट फाइल हुई है जी, तो उस रिट में अगर आपको स्टे मिल गया, देखिए रिट में जो इनिशियली जो पहले रिट फाइल हुई थी उसमें सब कोर्ट्स ने स्टे दिया था, लेकिन बाद में जब लगातार काफी रिट फाइलें होने गई तो लोग स्टे नहीं देके सीधे हियरिंग फिक्स कर देते थे और हियरिंग ले लेते थे। तो उन रिट में तो कोई मतलब नहीं, लेकिन जिस रिट में स्टे दिया गया था तो जो स्टे का पीरियड है वो काउंटिंग ऑफ जो ये डेज है 148 वो आपके एक्सक्लूड हो जाएंगे।
सर अदर देन स्टे में जो नॉर्मल नोटिस अगर दिए उसमें मान लीजिए 7 डेज का टाइम अलाउ किए तो 7 डेज नॉर्मल 140।
मैं आ रहा हूँ तो फोर्थ प्रोविजन की बात है। Provided also that very immediately after the exclusion of the period referred to in immediately preceding proviso, the period of representation available to the AO for passing an order under section clause D of section 148 is less than 7 days. Such remaining period shall be extended to 7 days, and the period of limitation under this section shall be deemed to be extended accordingly. देखिए ये तो लास्ट टाइम हुआ था, हम लोग लोग से बात भी काफी किए थे कि उन्होंने लास्ट में कई बार 2 दिन की टाइम दी, 3 दिन की टाइम दी, 4 दिन की टाइम दी। एंड he spoke to the higher superior authority also कि आपके एओ को अभी इतना भी नहीं मालूम है कि अगर वो 7 दिन मान लीजिए 27-28 तारीख को उसको इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली है उसको 148 पे करना है, वो 7 दिन के नोटिस दे सकता था। 31 मार्च के बाद में 3 अप्रैल 4 अप्रैल की डेट होती है, इसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता क्योंकि उसको ये दिन जो एक्स्ट्रा दिन है उसको ऑर्डर पास करने के लिए उसको एक्स्ट्रा मिल जाते रहते, उसको बढ़िया रहता है कि मार्च की जगह उसको अप्रैल में टाइम मिल जाती है ऑर्डर पास करने के लिए। तो यही है कि 7 दिन से कम के अगर टाइम दिया भी है तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है और आराम से 7 दिन दीजिए और जो आप एडवर्टाइजमेंट मांगते हैं वो टाइम वो एक्स्ट्रा हमको मिल जाता है।
सर थर्ड प्रोविजो में थोड़ा सा और डाउट है, उसमें जो नॉर्मल टाइम अलाउ कर रहे हैं असेसिंग ऑफिसर, मान लीजिए नोटिस में 7 डेज का टाइम अलाउ करता है और उसके बाद में 148A(D) का ऑर्डर बन जाता है एंड से विदिन 31 मार्च बन गया ऑर्डर।
हाँ,
तो उसके बाद में 148A(B) में जो 7 डेज का टाइम मिला था, विल दैट बी एडेड? नहीं,
जब ऑर्डर ही कर दिया था तो क्या दिक्कत है? आपने तो उसको कोई प्रोटेस्ट भी नहीं किया ना।
ये क्लैरिटी नहीं है थर्ड प्रोविजो में, देयर इज नो क्लैरिटी ऑन दैट।
नहीं, अगर 7 डेज की नोटिस की जगह उसने 3 दिन की नोटिस दी है तो नोटिस इज इनवैलिड। अगर आप उसको रेस्पॉन्ड नहीं करते हैं और आप कोर्ट में चले जाते हैं तो आप बोल सकते हैं कि ये नोटिस इनवैलिड है बिकॉज इन द एक्ट द एओ इज एम्पावर्ड टू इश्यू नोटिस बाय गिविंग 7 डेज मिनिमम टाइम। अगर 7 दिन से कोई भी नोटिस है तो इट इज इन अगेंस्ट द प्रोविजंस ऑफ द एक्ट और इट इज इलीगल।
नहीं सर, क्वेरी थोड़ा डिफरेंट है। लेट अस अज्यूम कि 7 डेज का टाइम मिल गया, एसएससी हैज गिवन 7 डेज टाइम जो कि लॉ परमिट करता है। उसके बाद में एओ 148A(D) का ऑर्डर बना दिया है और ये सारा एक्सरसाइज जो है 31 मार्च के अंदर हो गया है। तो 148A(B) में जो 7 डेज अलाउ किया टाइम, 148A(D) ऑर्डर पास करने के लिए क्या वो 7 डेज टाइम ऐड किया जाएगा एज पर थर्ड प्रोविजो? थोड़ा सा उसमें एम्बिग्यूटी है थर्ड प्रोविजो में।
एक्चुअली मे आई ऐड समथिंग?
आई डोंट थिंक इसमें आपको जब आपका 7 डेज का नोटिस दे दिया आपने और उसे वो ऑर्डर पास कर दिया फिर तो कोई क्वेश्चन उठता ही नहीं इसमें। आनंद जी को अनम्यूट करो ना प्लीज, हेल्प मी। आपका क्या ओपिनियन है? I would like to get your opinion.
Let me say something about so many questions which have been raised about filing of return. Should we file? Should not we file? And 148 notices in respect of assessment 1516, even if it is more than 50 lakhs rupees. So if everybody permits, then I can have my opinion on those.
Oh, sure.
Please, sir. We will be happy to hear you.
Yes.
First of all, 15-16 की जो बात हो रही है कि 50 लाख से ऊपर का इनकम अगर है, मान लीजिए, इवन डिपेंडेड बाय एसेट भी है, मेरा ओपिनियन ये है कि दोज आर टाइम बार्ड। Even if it is more than 50 lakhs, it is time barred. क्योंकि अगर आप क्लॉज बी अगर देखें, सब क्लॉज बी ऑफ सेक्शन 149(1), तो उसमें बोला है असेसमेंट ईयर की 10 साल तक जा सकते हैं। बट फर्स्ट प्रोविजो जो है वो क्या बोल रहा है provided that no notice under section 148 shall be issued at any time. Mind this word, at any time. माने जब भी अगर नोटिस इशू हो रही है 148 की, तब क्या होगा? In a case for the relevant assessment year beginning on or before 1st April 21, that means कि 21-22 के पहले के जितने असेसमेंट्स हैं उसके बारे में कोई भी नोटिस किसी भी समय इशू हो रही है तो क्या होगा? बोल रहा है कि if such a notice could not have been issued, अगर वो नोटिस could not have been issued at that time at the time of the issue of the notice, on account of being beyond the time limit specified under the provisions of clause B of subsection 1 of this section, as they stood immediately before the commencement of the Finance Act 21. That means कि Finance Act 21 में जो क्लॉजेज या जो सेक्शंस आए हैं उसके पहले 149(1)B का क्या क्लॉज था? 149(1)B का बिफोर 21 वाज था कि अगर 1 लाख रुपए से ऊपर की अगर इनकम है तो 6 साल तक रीओपन हो सकता है। तो 15-16 का असेसमेंट could have been reopened only up to 31st March 22 because 6 years expires on that day. आज मार्च 22 के ऊपर हम लोग आ गए। नई नोटिस अगर इशू होगी 148 की तो आफ्टर 31st March 22 होगी ऑब्वियसली, बिकॉज 148 की डीमिंग होगी, 148AB का ऑर्डर होगा, 148D का ऑर्डर होने के बाद में नोटिस इशू करेगा। That will obviously be after 31st March 22. By that time, the assessment for the assessment year 15-16 became barred by limitation under the old provisions of section 149(1)B, and therefore 15-16 could not be reopened even if the income exceeds 50 lakh rupees.
इसमें तो कोई डिफरेंस ओपिनियन है नहीं आनंद जी।
क्वेरीज में था कि 15-16 में अगर मान लीजिए ऐसा है 50 लाख या 60 लाख दिया है तो शुरू में फर्स्ट या सेकंड थर्ड क्वेरी में था ये बात, 15-16 का बात लिखा हुआ।
अच्छा वो जो लॉस का जो था,
हाँ लॉस का है या प्रॉफिट का जो भी है व्हाटएवर इट इज, क्वेरी 15-16 के लिए थी, सेकंड या थर्ड क्वेरी जो थी। तो मेरा ये ओपिनियन है कि 15-16 की इन एनी केस वेदर इट इज बिलो,
तो हमने भी इसमें यही कहा आनंद जी कि इट कैन नॉट बी रिओपन।
हाँ इट कैन नॉट बी रिओपन। नहीं उसमें 50 लाख देखना ही नहीं है, 50 लाख है कि 60 लाख है कि 20 लाख कुछ देखना ही नहीं है। 15-16 बिकम बार बाय लिमिट, कैन नॉट बी रिओपन।
लेकिन सर फिर इस केस में फिर 13, 14, 14, 15 में भी तो सेम ही चीज आ गई।
मतलब ये एक्चुअली 13, 14, 14, 15, 15-16 तक सब गया।
नहीं झगड़ा तो यही है ना, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के केस में यही तो झगड़ा है कि वो लोग क्या इंटरप्रेट कर रहे हैं, हम लोग क्या अलग इंटरप्रेट कर रहे हैं, तो झगड़ा।
लेकिन सीबीडीटी तो टोला का लेकर वो कर रहा है ना, टोला।
हाँ वही प्रमोद जी एकदम सही कहा आपने, वही तो झगड़ा है ना, वो उसको टोला को मान रहे हैं, हम लोग नहीं मान रहे, वही तो बात है।
We have to consider the law, not the CBDT instructions to the department. Department may be bound by that, but not we or the court. If we interpret or the court interprets the law as such, then there is no question of CBDT instructions become useless. Cannot be, should not be considered. तो वो तो करेंगे भाई, ITO क्या करेगा वो उनका अपना एक्शन है, which we have to challenge. Now when we challenge, we must know how to challenge. That is what I mean. My recollection on that.
आनंद जी अपने को सबसे पहले इसी पॉइंट के ऊपर चैलेंज कर देना चाहिए नोटिस को कि 140।
Of course.
है ना
आनंद जी एक क्वेरी है आनंद जी इसी
में। मैं बोलूंगा कि आप ये जो फर्स्ट प्रोवाइजो है उसको 10 दफे पढ़िए, the meaning will be clear.
आनंद जी एक क्वेरी है इसी प्रोविजो को लेकर के, एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो जजमेंट में कहा कि all 148 notices will be considered as 148A notices.
Right, very correct.
Can they take this plea that 148 notices were issued in 21 and present notice is the continuation of the existing 148 notice which has already been issued, and taking that plea, can 15-16 notices, 15-16 assessment year?
Let us analyze this.
Yeah.
15-16 की नोटिस 1/4/21 को लोग इशू कर रहे हैं 148 की,
right,
which were quashed by the Delhi High Court, Rajasthan High Court, or several high courts. Were quashed. They said that they are invalid notices.
Right.
What the Supreme Court says, they accepted. Yes, these are invalid notices. What they say now, it may be treated as a notice under section 148A of the Act, not under 148.
Okay.
Now, in pursuance to this 148 notice, deemed to be 148 notice, the SSC will be required to file his objection against this information and obligor their evidences or materials. we have to file objection, to which they will dispose of by passing an order under 148A within bracket D of the Act, along with a notice under 148. So now this notice 148 is the notice, not the 148A. 148 is not the reopening notice. The notice under 148A will be the notice which will be now passed to be served along with 148A order. So we have to count the dates or whatever it is from that date, not from that date of 148A notice, deemed notice.
Agreed.
Similarly, a query 3 regarding proviso, third and fourth proviso, the meaning thereof. So अगर इसको भी पढ़े आप ध्यान से, क्या बोलता है ये? The time or extended time allowed to the assessor. What does it mean? कि 148AB की नोटिस में normally, जब ये तो deemed notice है, notice में the provisions are that the time is allowed of minimum of 7 days to respond. Such time may be extended to some period as by the assessing officer. Now this 7 days time or the extended time, मान लीजिए एक नोटिस आई, उसमें आपको 7 दिन का टाइम दिया, हमने एक्सटेंशन मांग लिया 7 दिन का, 15 दिन के टाइम में। अब नोटिस इशू करने की टाइम जो है उस केस में मान लीजिए 31 मार्च पड़ती है, तो what the law says that the notice under 148 now could be issued by 15th of the next month, that is 15th April, that will deem to be a notice issued within time. This is what I feel is the meaning of this second provision and the third provision. और the stay की जो बात बोल रहा है कोर्ट का, ये जो 148A को चैलेंज हुआ और उसको बोले स्टे, that is not a stay. Stay means कि 148AB की अगर कोई नोटिस आई है उसको हम लोग चैलेंज कर रहे हैं और उसमें कोई कोर्ट का स्टे आ गया तो वो स्टे का जो ऑर्डर है उसके पीरियड का वो और एक्सटेंड हो जाएगा।
Sir, one thing, if we do not apply this doctrine of relate back as the CBDT has taken, so it means then this order of the Supreme Court will be futility. There will be no balance.
So the doctrine of relate back is a mental element of the CBDT. It is not the law. It is not the law. Why should you relate back? And what we are relating back? Relating back is the 148A notice. But the date cannot be extended, cannot be related back to that.
My only submission, my only point is then the Supreme Court order is a totally nullity because it will not apply. If we take that the 148, all the provisions will apply as they stand today to the notices being issued today.
This is the law says that they say
given any benefit to the department as it is being made out to be that it has done favor to the department by exercising power under 142.
I feel
I could not find any year to which the department will be.
Yes, exactly.
Will be favoring the department.
जो उन्होंने treat किया है, it is nothing but a lollipop to the department, and nothing else. Because even the High Court had said after pressing notice that the department is free to issue notices under section 148A of the Act under the new law. They are free.
What I understand from the reading of the law,
yes,
actually the people have gone in the rate that the new benevolent provision benefit is not being extended to the earlier year. And so what the Supreme Court has done that, yes, you give that benevolent provisions benefit for those years also and go ahead. I think that leeway type things Supreme Court has wanted to give, as they have used the word also in their order that we are giving the leeway to the department to give that benevolent provisions benefit to those years also. And if we read that way, then certainly it will relate back to those dates. Otherwise, the whole order is a futility. It will not apply to even to a single year.
So the courts have said all along that the law has to be read as it is. And the meaning thereof has to be drawn from the law and not from the intention or the leeway or the benefit. We have to read the law as it is. The court will interpret the provisions of law. It is not a case where Parliament had some intention. Sometimes the lawmakers, the courts have said the intention of the Parliament, the lawmaker could be brought into, but not in this case.
That is why Anandji, I told you that it
And
should.
there is one more issue is there regarding 50 lakhs rupees matter. If it is more than 50 lakhs rupees income represented by assets, then what should be done? This is somebody question what should be done. First of all, you have to file the return. But before that, one thing I will say, this 50 lakhs income of more than 50 lakhs rupees represented by asset is an extended period allowed by the statute to the department. Now, in this case, the notice or the information which suggests escapement of income must state therein that the income of more than 50 lakhs has been escaped. And why it has escaped more than 50 lakhs, they have to say in the information. I'll refer to the judgment of NDTV India of the Supreme Court in 116 Taxman 151. What they said, they have when they are in earlier law or even today also, 16 years which were extended for foreign assets income represented by assets in the foreign countries. So the time was extended to 16 years. But notice under 148 or the reasons to believe at that time, if did not indicate the intention of the officer that he wants to extend the time to 16 years because of this fact, the court said that you cannot take that plea before the High Court or before any higher court. So, if the information does not contain such allegation, you can challenge that also. If the information does not say that my income has escaped assessment more than 50 lakhs. Following the judgment of Supreme Court in the case of NDTV India, 116 Taxman 151 Supreme Court. Sometimes what happens, they issue the notice only. But if they want to extend the time to 10 years from 3 years, they must indicate either in the notice or in the region. जो था ना पहले आपको ध्यान होगा पारस जी, जो 143(3) के जहाँ assessment हो गए हैं और जहाँ पर assessing officer wants to reopen the case after 4 years, then they must show in the regions that there was a escapement of income due to failure of the SSC to disclose truly and fully all material facts.
Yes.
और अगर regions में बात नहीं लिखी हुई है तो courts have quashed the proceedings.
Yes. And उसके अलावा जो change of opinion वगैरह के जो court cases थे, वो सब apply करेंगे. If there's any change of opinion, also all those cases will apply also. And one thing also है कि
अब चूंकि ये regions based नहीं, information based है, तो वो challenge आप कर सकते हैं once after the notice has been issued.
Yes.
और when you reply to 148AB की जो notice है, उसके reply में आप objection raise कर दीजिए उसको.
And ये जो assets की जो definition दी गई है, इसमें देखिए explanation में एक catch है कि ये include करते हैं immovable property, land or building, or both shares and securities, loans and advance and deposit in bank account. अब मान लीजिए कि कोई ज्वेलर के यहाँ से ट्रांजेक्शन मिलता है कि एसएससी ने कोई 50 लाख की ज्वेलरी परचेज की है, उसके पर अगर वो रीओपनिंग होती है तो दैट ज्वेलरी इज नॉट कवर्ड इन द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एसेट्स एंड एसेट्स हैव बीन डिफाइंड हियर. Only those assets which have been covered in the definition of assets in the explanation will be treated as fit for the reopening. तो अगर ज्वेलरी का कोई केस अगर आ जाता है तो मेरे ख्याल से 50 लाख से ऊपर होने पर भी reopen होगा.
If I'm not wrong, this jewelry, the assets की definition है inclusive.
That's right, sir.
If I'm not wrong.
That's right, sir.
Includes.
It's an inclusive, it's an
And
expansive
if it is
definition.
inclusive definition,
It's not a
jewelry will come under the purview of assets.
Yes, sir.
बैलेंस शीट में जो भी एसेट्स आएंगी वो सारी एसेट्स आएंगी. ज्वेलरी बैलेंस शीट में
आए चाहे नहीं आए, बैलेंस शीट में आए चाहे नहीं आए. आज पर्सनल तो पर्सनल ज्वेलरी है, बैलेंस शीट में कहाँ आएगी, क्यों आएगी, कोई जरूरी नहीं है.
I think now we should close.
Yeah, I think we have a wonderful discussion on the topic. I request Pramod Mundaji to take over the proceeding. Pramod ji. Well, friends, I request Ashok ji Maheshwari to give his views and also give vote of thanks to the speaker.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Parasji. Thank you, Anandji Tibral. Anandji has given a beautiful clarification on whatever the queries were there. So almost all the replies tallied with both the speakers. So we are now doubly sure that now no confusion, because he has not only dealt with the loss matter, also the asset matter, because that was loss matter query was sent by me only for the benefit of all the person. Now he has taken a step further that even asset for the 15-16 in that is also covered. We have got very good participation today, and I have seen that throughout the deliberation, all the participants were present, and they have taken utmost interest. And I offer my sincere thanks from our BBD Bag Professional Association to all those persons who have attended today. And Sri Rameshji Patudia could not attend because of his health reasons. Next time when we'll be okay, we'll have his views on certain issues. And I request say Anandji Tibral to attend our seminars on regular basis, because that will enrich our the knowledge of all the participants, and they will be immensely benefited. Thank you all the participants. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Parasji. And
Thank you.
Parasji, our Senior Vice President. So he's our own member only, and he's always ready to give these views. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you, Ashokji.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Parashi. Thank you, Anandji.
Namaskar ji.
Thank you, Maheshwari ji. So now I'm ending the meeting.